Okay, before we do that, I gotta play one other thing. It's a 6-second clip.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
Is that it?
I don't want to be part of that meeting. I don't know what that exchange was about, but it didn't look good.
No.
Oh,
Is
dear.
that a Vulcan there? Did I see?
No,
Or
that is
who was
actually from. That's from
Oh,
Rings of Power.
Yeah, that's an Atheist.
Rings of something.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Goodness
Yeah, I don't know.
gracious.
Yeah.
So,
I
we
feel
are
dirty
live.
now. I was doing okay.
Yeah.
Now I feel dirty.
Yeah. The
Time
thing
for a
is,
palate cleanser.
I've not been watching it, and it's nothing to do with the fact is what they did to the Wheel of Time that I've not been watching it. It's just modern stuff.
Right.
Just can't get behind it.
I know. Yes, it's too modern.
It's too
So
modern.
speaking of which, Amazon has picked up another franchise to ruin. I don't know if you guys saw it. Blade Runner 2099.
Who cares?
But it's just another one that is going to go down the drain. You look at the things that they've actually been doing, not just Amazon, right across the board. There was, what was the most recent one I heard it been redone as well. They're, apart from the Babylon 5, they're going to reboot. There's another franchise. Somebody told me, and I'm trying to remember what it was. It was a 1970s sci-fi one. And it's been redone as well. And I'm sitting there thinking, no.
Oh, I didn't know
they're fighting for dominance.
I didn't know they were doing I didn't know they were doing Babylon 5.
Yeah, I don't know who's got it, but they've got J. Michael Straczynski.
So he's involved.
He's
at
involved,
least.
but
that's like Ridley Scott is an executive producer of this future abomination of Blade Runner.
Yeah,
Babylon 5 was supposed to be on CW, I think. Evening chaps, by the way. Sorry.
Hello.
Hey, Colin.
But I saw somewhere yesterday that they think that the actual reboot might not be happening now, but there is, I believe, something with the surviving original cast members on next year.
Yes,
you can tell they're fighting for dominance, right? And you can tell they're grasping at straws. They're trying to grab everything that they can buy as intellectual property and just stick it out there or remake it. They're doing another Beverly Hills Cop. And did you see the pictures from that film? That film, basically, it's Eddie Murphy who's in his 70s, dressed like he was in the second film. I'm like, why? That is so stupid. Why? The guy's in his 70s. Get him in his ordinary clothes. Why would you do this? It's stupid thinking. That's what it is.
They cannot come up with an original idea.
Well, that's the thing. They can't. And
nothing.
People are saying that's an original idea. It's not. A lot of the stuff they're doing is just copying something else, and they're just throwing things.
Yep.
The Winnie the Pooh horror.
Yeah, I want to see that.
I haven't seen it, so I don't. I know it exists.
I refuse to see it because there's no way on earth Winnie the Pooh and horror are actually meant to be in the same sentence. No matter what people say. I actually spoke to a girl in my work who she's got a Winnie the Pooh mug. And I had said to her, do you know they're actually making a Winnie the Pooh movie? And she went, I says, it's a horror. And she covered her cup. That shows exactly. It's
Pooh,
the idea
put down the knife, Pooh.
Yeah. It's keeping the idea away from which she sees as her favourite. And I know the story behind the Winnie the Pooh horror. It is going to be, believe it or not, it's meant to be Christopher Robin's grown up. And he's left his toys behind and he's out with his friends. And it's the toys are getting their revenge for being abandoned.
Wow, that's a terrible, sad, depressing idea.
That's exactly what I was told. And I'm sitting there thinking, really?
Man,
somebody's actually taken Toy Story and made it dark.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a thing, but I might watch it. I might watch it. Did anyone see the
Ian, you yell at me about things, about I don't even want to start that because it's going to be so horrible. And yet here you are with the Pooh. Oh boy,
You're going to ask
a knife again. Dude, why?
Are you going to ask about the Banana Splits movie?
Oh God, I've seen that.
Oh,
it's very silly.
No.
Anybody
I
see?
love that.
Anybody see? What's the new one that's come out? Quantum Leap. Anybody
Quantum
see
Leap.
that one?
No, I saw.
didn't
I
watch.
saw the 5 second. Well, I actually saw about 3 seconds of the 5 second trailer on a YouTube, and I saw 2 people, and I thought, nope, out. It was only 3 seconds.
The thing is, if they kept it faithful to the original, where it's just the traveler and the companion, yeah, it'd be great. They had good interaction between the two. But
Yes.
you got the cornucopia of diversity in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, that
And
always
you know,
makes it
one of the
better.
stories accordingly in the first season.
But you know,
they're in France, and it
Yeah,
just so happens to be when Diana dies.
Oh no, that was a Quantum Leap special. There was a Quantum Leap called The Leap to Die For.
That's what it was.
That's not this one. I found that when we
No.
were talking about it the other week, and it was literally he turns up. You know, it's exactly that. Yeah.
But you know,
Oh.
this one is set when Live Aid was happening. So it's set in the
Well, and you know the
85.
thing also, I was reading the commentary. I totally forgot it. During that time was the Move riots in Philly.
Yeah,
where
it was.
They literally dropped a bomb in Philly, and I mean, my seminary was not too far from there.
There's only one bit of woke in this, is when the girl says to him, "I was meant to leap. I'm so much better than you." At blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh, for God's sakes.
Well, I mean, when you got the pixie
Of course she
guy,
is.
everything he says is pretty much garbage.
Oh, you mean the guy in the skirt? That guy.
Well,
guy with
whatever the
glasses and
blonde
skirt.
haired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's wearing a skirt. As far as I can tell, it was
I
a
didn't
skirt.
notice that.
The non-binary.
Yeah, so
Whatever.
I've not
In all
seen.
fairness, was it set in Scotland? He could have been wearing a kilt.
yeah, it could have been.
Exactly.
It could have been.
I've not
I
seen.
don't.
I hadn't even realised this one was out actually, but I saw a couple of reviews of it of people with it, and my line was, as soon as it was a bit about, well, the girl was supposed to leap. Well, you know what happened? This is 2022. If she'd leaped, if she'd actually been the one to leap, they'd have had no series, because she'd have saved Sam Beckett, brought him back, put everything to right in the first 5 minutes of the show.
Yeah, they said, yeah. But you know what? Watching it, I mean, I don't know if you agree with me, Father, but watching it, I thought to myself, it should have been Ernie Hudson and the Chinese guy. It shouldn't have been the woman and him, because Ernie Hudson has a presence. He has a
But
presence
you know,
on
the
screen.
comment I made on Dan's stream, I still believe, because if you watch the original pilot,
Yeah.
it's like in the near future where Al's like in a
Yes.
fancy car, and this is the new one says it happened back in '85.
Yeah, I know, it's stupid. Basically they didn't investigate properly on what they were trying to do, and that's just typical of everything that's being brought back. They don't really go back and honor the original material. That's what's
Well,
happening.
That's
trying,
shocking to
but-
hear, Ian. Shocking.
I mean, I just came out and two things struck me watching Dan's stream, I think. Well, hold a minute. The idea is that somehow, slightly confusingly, the mind leaps but the body doesn't. But somehow Sam's DNA, when he's in someone else's body, he leaps in the body at the point they're having sex, and as a result of which 30 years later his daughter is working for them. But more to the point, if they've done this and they've actually set up in the original series that the person they leaps into Sam's body and can talk with them, the Dr. Ruth example, for example, how can they lose track of him? Sam's body is in the Quantum Leap.
No, because the last episode was meant to imply that he leaped into his own body. Do you remember the episode before it? So it's meant to imply that the whole of him now is leaping into people's bodies.
Right. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yes,
no,
he
no,
basically
100%
disappeared. Yes, he disappeared from
thought
the room, and he was basically jumping himself.
Oh, because I thought they just said that Sam never came back. I didn't.
Yeah, he never came back. Definitely
The
never came
final
back.
episode, yeah.
Yeah, the final episode is he never came back, so he disappeared from the
I
room.
might have to watch that again. I didn't. I thought he was still just leaping around as before.
No, because God met him at the ending or something like that, wasn't it? The last episode was meant to be
in
God,
the
that
bar.
guy behind the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So
And he was in the
Basically,
first episode too.
he was, yes, he was. was. But
Which is-
yeah.
Someone did a lovely one about maybe he should leap into the future and become leap into the command of a starship.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if this new guy, Ben, leaps into someone that's non-binary. Now that's going to be interesting, isn't it, lads? Or even,
It probably
or
would,
even,
but I mean, Sam leapt into the body of a woman, so I mean,
and a monkey.
Yeah,
He leapt in the body of a monkey in one episode, which was the worst episode ever. So there you
I
go.
don't remember that one, but okay.
It was terrible. He was
Yeah.
wearing a nappy all the way through it, acting like a
Yeah,
monkey.
it's
It was
one
so
where it's
awful.
That was the one about the swimming. Monkeys
Yeah.
can't swim and he's
Yeah,
swimming.
yeah.
What's the one that was at NASA or something? I thought it was a space monkey.
No, there was the one. It was the one in the zoo, and it was rescuing
yeah.
the other monkeys because they were going to be experimented on.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
And he doesn't say "oh boy" at the end, does he? He says "oh shh," and it just cuts off, doesn't it? So interesting. I thought, but
Wow.
it's what they do these days, isn't it? They take
Yeah.
something because they've run out of ideas. They take something that's been
have.
treasured, and then But I didn't mind this episode. I just don't have the compulsion to go back to it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's a lot very similar. You know me, my attitude with even the new Doctor Who stuff. I was watching that. I was buying the DVDs, and then one day I looked up at my shelf and I realised half of the DVDs hadn't even been opened, and the other ones that had been opened, I'd just taken the cellophane off and just put them in my shelf. I'd never rewatched them. And I think the problem is now people don't even get to the point where they go, I might watch them, so I want to get the DVD, or I might watch it again. They just look at it and go, forgettable. It's gone. It's no longer.
Speaking of which, go ahead. Sorry, I'm just bringing up the image.
What terrible thing are you going to pull up now, Father? Ah!
Oh fuck!
You got to warn us before you do something like that.
It's just I'm not interested in watching this. I'm going to watch her transform on YouTube.
I hope it's
I'm
painful.
gonna do.
Yeah, like the,
So,
that's
is that
exactly
in
right.
your
Ian.
ear? Is that the
Can you
ringer?
not perform an exorcism, Father?
The what?
Can you not perform an exorcism before you bring it?
I'm not trained in it.
Ah,
No, seriously, exorcists are trained.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
are
know.
definitely.
It's not like just a priest can go off and do it. He has
Yeah,
to actually be
yeah.
trained in it.
I'm no.
So you can't watch it on YouTube and then go and do it yourself.
No.
that's just like a terrible idea.
No, it's more
How
advanced. than
did
that.
the
You
gates of hell get opened? Well, we watched a YouTube video and
You have to
Board.
download a set of download a set of lectures from the Great Courses Plus.
I don't know. I'm not going to watch it anyway. I don't care what happens, and I really don't. And do you know what? I suspect I had a conversation with Gary when I was over in Dallas, and we both agree. Look, it's not going in the right direction. All the red flags are up. You know,
yes,
and
definitely.
like I think in Dan's stream, I wasn't on Dan's stream yesterday, but he pulled up this picture of this guy that's in charge of advertisement for the Doctor Who series, and he's this young guy with blonde hair, and nothing against the gay community, but again, that guy looked gay. Do you know what I mean? So what we got Russell T, who's gay. We've got Shooty, which is gay. We got the guy from America. He's playing the Mad Hatter fella. He's gay, right? Who
yeah,
else are
Neil
going to
Patrick.
introduce that's gay in this?
Neil
We've got the
Neil Patrick
assistant.
Harris.
Yeah, we've got the assistant. That's I don't know, trans.
Problem being in it.
I hope so. Maybe you can beat them all up.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? So the red flags are up. Definitely up. And I've got nothing against what they're doing at all. But I suspect because they have so much, they will try and implement that into Doctor Who, which I don't want, because I think Doctor Who is not sexual at all. Do you know what I mean?
Who's done
He's
it? I
the
mean,
Doctor.
you look at the fan art of Yaz and Jodie. I mean, it's already been done. It's
Yeah.
already been implied.
I disliked it when even they had things like every female character, like Karen Gillian or Jenna Coleman, their characters all fell in love, and I'm sitting there thinking, really?
Yeah, they did.
No, but it's but
I didn't mind
PJ,
that.
it's very easy to see why they fell in love with Doctor, because the Doctor was an amazing kind of person, cared a lot, hated a lot. You know, he's the full spectrum of what it's like to be human. So it's easy to see why they were attracted to
Yes,
Doctor.
but when they start actually implying that he's got the feelings again,
No, he only had one feeling for one person, which was Rose. That was it. That was it.
No, he kissed the Doctor in the movie.
Oh, that was Grace, but he didn't have any relationship with her at all. He just kissed her.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah,
But he had a
I don't know,
relationship
I
with
mean-
Rose. Sorry?
didn't
I
Capaldi-
just to me the Doctor should be that those type of things should be just above
I
it.
totally
Just
agree.
Yeah.
It's a love story, no matter if it's one-sided. That's when it turns into a love story. And to me, I don't care. I
But
don't
what
want-
I'm saying is that they did it once. Let's just move on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it.
It's the same as like Judge Dredd, and I'm talking about the Sylvester Stallone one. The fact that he kissed him, I'm sitting there thinking, really, they had to put a love story in there. She was the one that she was enamored with him, kissed him because, and it was even things like that. I just get annoyed with because you don't need it in every story. There's certain stories it needs to be there because it shows the relationship between them. But when you've got ones that they're either working together or they're traveling together or whatever, and then they suddenly put a love story in, it's
Yeah,
almost
I
like
know what you
saying,
mean.
you need to tick that box, love story, because we need women to watch this. Yeah, women are watching Judge Dredd for the love story. No, they're watching it for Judge Dredd.
Yeah, but
don't-
you know, PJ, that they made it for the American market in mind. So
Mhm.
that's what I thought the American market needed. So there you
That-
go.
Red Dwarf did the same. They brought back Kachansky because you can't
American
have a
market.
program for the American market. It didn't have a female.
Hmm.
I don't know. I figured. I mean, I really could care less if they had brought her back or not.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I didn't care either. Claire Grogan was a good Kachansky, but then they got this new girl in, and she was like,
Chloe
yeah.
Annette, I've met her. She's really nice, but she was not Kachansky.
no, she wasn't.
Claire
I didn't
Grogan,
think she
I
was.
love Claire Grogan. I know that she had to change her name when she became an actress to CP Grogan because it was already a Claire. But I
Yeah.
love Claire Grogan and Altered Image. I basically had all the records when I was growing up. But she was also in
Gregory's Girl.
Gregory's Girl. Yep.
Yeah, she was. I fancied her in Gregory's Girl.
Yes, Mr. Spaceman, she kept calling.
Yeah.
I loved that. And she
Yeah.
was great in that.
Mm.
But it's just one of those things I just always wanted to. I just don't like love stories in certain genres. And
Mr. Trent has got a microphone that matches his shirt and his
Oh.
hat. My lord.
What's going
Yeah,
on there?
imagine.
Get cancelled for having a hat that colour.
Uh-huh.
Very
We're
color
going to get
coordinated.
cancelled.
Get the FBI shit on you.
So, John, I did watch episode 5.
I haven't seen the
And I
last
already-
episode yet.
Well,
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, my
So
God.
what episode of Star Trek is that then?
Trouble with
That's
Tribbles.
just-
Certainly trouble with troubles. Uh-huh.
that's what they do, though. They insert all that stuff on purpose to
Mm,
push that degeneracy. So
Yeah.
yep.
it's not to be expected. I mean, when
I
your
remember-
first episode literally has Galadriel touching heaven and then deciding to jump off her ship because she doesn't
Oh,
want to
you-
touch it and views it as some kind of evil, you just know there's no hope for the show whatsoever.
Well, from the Catholic viewpoint, she should go straight to purgatory for that. I mean, if you don't want to go into heaven,
I mean,
I don't know.
is
only
it
a
just
TV show,
purgatory? I
Father.
mean, if you're rejecting God and rejecting heaven, I like that's
Well, then
more
she
of
goes to
another
the
place.
other place.
You go to the other place, right? So yeah, I just was like, that just sickened me. I mean, that was just wow. So much for all. Like, I mean, we knew they were lying when they were saying they wanted to stay true to the spirit and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
we knew that.
And
So
first
they take-
episode exposed it.
Well, the fact that you know fine well they're going to do it, they're taking a piece of work written by a very religious man and then turning around and going, yeah, but we're keeping it to the spirit. Yeah, right. Watch us.
Oh,
What does that even mean?
who was who's the YouTuber that was going to argue that Middle Earth was always woke? I saw that last week, and I can't remember who it is.
I don't know. I know the OneRing.net was pushing that like last year to kind of like set up for all of this. It
What
was
a
like as part of
surprise.
Amazon's early
I
marketing.
mean,
show.
I just mentioned Grace Randolph complaining about how Tolkien wrote in the 50s.
Yeah.
Grace.
Yeah, and we're telling you that yes, we're keeping true to his story, but we're going to bring it up to a modern age. So in effect, you're not keeping it to the spirit because it was written nearly 100 years ago. However, you want to actually inject modern world politics into it and keep it to the spirit it was written.
It's not just modern politics; it's modern American politics too. It's which is just even more egregious, I think, given the fact that he was British.
Yeah, it's not good, is it? Not good at all.
Because I mean, clearly the elf thing is modern American identity politics. I don't know if that, like, I know there maybe is some of that over in the UK, but I don't think it's anywhere to the extent that it is here in the US.
It's my next door neighbor on the right. My next. Oh no, it's not my next door neighbor. Sorry, I thought it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like he's just kind of contrarian on everything he takes if he's saying you're wrong about Attack on Titan.
You're wrong about.
interesting.
Look, just leave them to it, man. Seriously, don't argue on Twitter. Just leave them. Just let them argue themselves. You know, just that's what I
Someone
do.
told me instead of blocking someone, just mute them. That way they can actually constantly go on. You don't see it, you don't reply to it.
Wasn't it Az did that? He went on and he chased up every single one of the super fans. I saw someone, I think it was Az did it.
I've never heard of it.
Not one of them. I think it was Az did it, and not one of them had mentioned the Rings of Power anywhere he could find. You know, these are the ones that went to the super fans that went to these events and got paid.
Yeah.
And nowhere could he find on any social media do they seem to even mention it.
You know what? I've not watched an episode, but I've been hearing what Gary said.
Yeah, I've not watched it.
And what people have been saying. And you know what? It's fascinating to listen to people, but I can't take anymore. I'm just not listening to anyone.
Well, I mean,
I
after watching the first 2 episodes, I had to cleanse my palate, and during Labor Day weekend, I binged the 12-hour special edition. I mean, the music is so much superior, the scenery is so much superior, the acting, the theme. I mean, it just everything's superior about it.
Even considering how old it is, the CGI is more superior.
I mean, you're almost.
Oh, that
25
warg
years.
is terrible. I don't even like the forget the CGI, but like the design of it is awful as well. It looks like they just took a dog on rabies and like lifted its upper lip and decided to like, oh, that was cool. It doesn't look anything like a warg.
Was it Lord of the Rings that they were saying that they've moved everything and they're now actually spending money actually setting up villages here in the UK to do the filming?
Yeah, there's I think they're moving from New Zealand to do the rest in the UK. So they spent all that money to build the sets over in New Zealand, and now they're moving production back to the UK.
They built one large set which can encompass
tax breaks.
I don't know if it's tax breaks. I wonder if they're just like moving money around too.
John, did you say you did not see this latest episode?
I have not seen the one that came out today, the 5th one. I haven't seen the most recent one. We usually watch them when I do watch it, I watch it at night because that's pretty much that's when all the kids are in bed.
You might not get to sleep if you do it.
it.
You might go to bed angry if you watch this one because I mean the Dirty Hobbit sings a song, and it's just like
there's a Dirty Hobbit.
They're all dirty.
Hobbits.
They're all
hobbits. I have ear cancer now.
Yeah, Daddy called them Hobo Baggins.
Yeah, they completely reject like the whole description of Bilbo and like the Hobbit, and then of like the hobbits in Lord of the Rings and how they're like very clean, neat, like peoples that they happen to just live in like holes, but they have like these like they're like very clean people and have proper manners and everything. No, these people are like just dirty and they seemingly never shower or never even like jump on a pond or take a bath or anything.
Hobbits,
But they're not hobbits; they're Harfoots, right? According
because
to
they-
the
Hobbits being notoriously non-nomadic.
yeah.
Well,
Also
what I was saying
true.
about them moving, I'm thinking, much as I like this country, much as we've got some really nice scenery in certain places in the UK, we are not the landscape porn that New Zealand is. Let's be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
moving from Middle Earth of New Zealand to the UK, you're not going to get that much in the way of landscape porn, I'm afraid.
Only in Scotland.
Yeah, I was gonna say Scotland has all the highlands and stuff. It's pretty pretty, and then even down south too, where they film. My wife watches this show. What is it called?
Midsummer Murders.
No, it's like Pole something. I can't remember. It's a
Poldark.
remake.
Oh, Poldark.
Poldark.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, in like Cornwall, I guess, or whatever. It's pretty pretty down there with the cliffs and everything.
Yeah. And
in the
I
countryside.
think it's really nice as well for the scenery. But it's the same again, whereas in New Zealand, you can set a camera in some of the landscapes and you can see for miles and it's just green pastures, trees. Here, you do that, there'll be occasional buildings. There's not as much spare
Yeah.
space as
I
you
mean,
have.
even if you go to some like Wales, is not going to have that much open space. I'm just wondering, okay, which episode they're going to decide. Oh, wait a minute, we're in England. Let's see. The Harfoots visit Stonehenge.
Yeah.
They'll just muck up the place.
Can I ask PJ? I know you haven't been watching it, have you? So I'm the only one that knows about Lenny Henry in this.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I
I
just
got
wondered
it.
if Lenny Henry turned up yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
there.
yeah.
He's like a
Here we go.
seer type character. He's like the leader of all the Harfoots.
Yeah, but accordingly, that's okay because he did it, but nobody else is allowed to do that.
Lenny Henry,
Yeah.
right, was when I was a
Oh,
kid,
yeah.
he was the funniest person on TV. And he had his own show on the BBC. He was huge over here, huge. And when he had his Christmas specials, that they just went through the roof, the ratings.
Yeah.
So he was
and
really, really huge here. Sorry, pal.
Father, do you know the Simpsons started on the Tracy Ullman show?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Tracy Ullman and David Copperfield.
Yes.
Where-
I
and
remember
something
watching
called
The
Three of
Simpsons
a
when they
Kind.
first came out. I mean, I was in freshman in high school back in '88, I think it was when it first
Well, that
came
was
out.
on the Tracy Ullman show, and she was partnership with Lenny Henry and David Copperfield, who not the magician, a comedian, and the three of them were in a show called Three of a Kind.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so Lenny Henry, that's how far back he goes, and he was hilariously funny. Now he's hilariously unfunny.
But the thing about Lenny Henry is he got to fame by a show called Opportunity Knocks. Was it Opportunity Knocks? So it was like X Factor of the day. So he was a comedian. He came on, made everybody laugh, and then he got picked up by an agent, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
But Lenny Henry, I met him a couple of times. He's all right. He's a nice person as far as I can tell. 6 foot tall. That's why I'm like, you got him to play a hobbit. You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell? You know. So, but I just remember in fond memories. But I just can't imagine him being in something like this. You know, I really can't.
Yeah, definitely.
He like reads the stars. Like his character like has a book and he like can read the stars to determine where they should go.
Right. But the thing you need to know about Lenny Henry is that he was fighting for diversity before all this stuff started. He was always fighting for it during the 80s and during the 90s because he noticed that there wasn't enough black faces behind the camera nor in front. So he was always fighting for it. And I applaud him for that. But, you know, obviously it's gone the other way completely.
It's going over the top. It's a
Yeah.
case of when you hear them turn around saying, well, we're only actually looking for people of colour or people minorities, and you're sitting there thinking, isn't that the exact same as you were fighting against years ago, only in reverse? So in effect, you were criticising people for only hiring men or white men. Now you're actually doing the exact same.
It's not about that, though.
Of course it's not, but the things they're saying, they're wanting it to be equal, and then they actually do the exact same as what they were accusing people of doing in the past.
I think the feminists has taken over
Oh, God.
diversity. So it's all about the women now.
Oh, God,
That's basically what it's about. And they throw in a person of color from time to time.
Oh,
That's
do you
what
know
they
the best one I saw on Twitter? Somebody tried it and they thought they would have a big argument. They says, for all those white people out there, this is the new James Bond. And believe it or not, every one of the comments was, we want him. And it was, and his name just disappeared.
Idris Elba?
Say again?
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba.
So I know
And
he's
that's
not
what it basically says, this is a new James Bond, expecting a lot of comeback. And people were actually going, yes, please. No problem. Yep.
Barbara Broccoli said that he was too old because he's in his 40s now, and they need to sign a contract for 7 years with an actor. So the actor needs to be at a certain age. So it just
So when is ND5 coming out?
That's exactly what they were expecting, a lot of comeback because of the way they phrased it. And every bit of one was, yes, please. When you've got a great actor, don't care. Sorry, a great British actor to play a British spy, we don't care.
Well, quite frankly, I think Daniel Craig was a mistake. Personally, I think he looks like Mr. Potato Head, and basically he's not James Bond. He's not James Bond because he's just a thug, and there's nothing classy about him at all. James Bond is classy, fun.
James Bond was always classy. He would bump people off, but he did it with style. Whereas it's basically they've watched the Bourne Supremacy or whatever and says, "Hey, just have him killing people like that and have action." No, that's not what James Bond.
Can you remember Daniel Craig saying, "Guys, can you remember Daniel Craig saying something funny, and you laughing for like 5 minutes?" I can remember Connery saying something funny that I laughed at for 5 minutes. I can obviously remember Roger Moore because he brought it all to the front, the comedy. Even Pierce, I can remember some of his lines. But Craig, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
One of my ones, and I still remember it, is Sean Connery. When the girl came in and she takes her wig off and she says, "Oh, don't you mind?" He says, "As long as the colour's in cuff, Matt." I was sitting there going, I was sitting watching it. My mum was sitting there, and I'm sitting there going,
well, I mean,
I hope my mum didn't ask what he meant.
you can see one of the obvious differences, in fact, that occurs to me is, and I mean, no disrespect to anybody from a base at Hereford. The original that they changed James Bond from being basically
everybody's old.
Lee or the author's own insert, a naval intelligence officer from World War II naval intelligence officer. Daniel Craig's guy's a thug from Hereford. He's an SAS. He's an ex-SAS door kicker. So they've completely changed the background of it. The background for it. Not that the SAS guys aren't intelligent and smart, but there's a different perception there as well.
True. I wish they would just let the franchise die.
No,
just like
they
all
shouldn't.
the other franchises need to die.
See,
No.
All the Marvel stuff, all the Star Wars stuff, it all needs to die.
They need to be redone properly.
You
But
murderer.
the problem is,
But they're not
the only
going
way
to.
you
They're
can do
not
that
going
is
to.
let it die before you resurrect it.
Look,
You need
you can
to
bring back James Bond. You can bring back James Bond. You have to do it right, though. But it doesn't
But they
seem like they're
won't.
going to do. Yeah, of course.
I mean, you've seen. I went through the hell of Kenobi for all of you, so that you didn't have to
That
watch
show
it.
is terrible.
Those same writers are going to be writing the Armor Wars.
Yep,
which
I
is
saw that.
the Iron Man spinoff. So the same terrible writers are now going to destroy James Rhodes as a character, because how could they not? It's again, I just wish this would all go away for, let's call it 10 to 15 years. I'll be old, maybe dead by the time it comes around again, but that's okay.
If I'm lucky, I quite agree.
So I don't know if I have ever played this clip, but this was from Saturday Night Live from about 25 years ago, when Garth Brooks hosted. They did a parody of James Bond, which was spot on.
Johnny
I'm just gonna
English.
play a few seconds. That's about all I should probably play of that.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty good.
I've seen that one before. Yeah,
Hmm.
it is a good way of spinning it. See, to me, that's the right way of parodying something. Just taking the mickey out of it by almost playing it straight, but playing it so well. You look at things like Johnny English. the first one. I didn't. The second one wasn't as good because the first one was a play on James Bond. You've got Mr. Bean playing James Bond, and it was
Woody
just
Allen playing
hilarious.
James Bond.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Jimmy Bond. That's true. That was Casino Royale, the original with
David Niven.
David Niven. I knew David Niven because my grandfather was when David Niven was gazetted as a lieutenant. He joined the Highland Light Infantry. Obviously, he didn't. He basically, when asked, "Where do you want to serve?" he says, "Anywhere except a Scottish regiment." So they put him in the Highland Light Infantry, and he was gazetted the same day as another lieutenant. And my grandfather was the Batman for the other lieutenant.
So Batman was there too? What about Superman?
My grandfather was Batman. Yes, so my grandfather was a Batman to the other lieutenant in the battalion, and
Wow.
he nearly got David Niven, but yeah. But no, Jimmy Bond was hilarious. I liked Woody Allen as Jimmy Bond.
Well, I was going to
silly.
ask John, going back to Saturday Night Live, did you see that they hired a non-binary for their cast?
There you go.
Saturday Night Live is yeah, I was muted. Sorry. Saturday Night Live
That's
is
okay.
is dead.
It's
Comedy,
been
I
dead.
think in general is dead. For
20
most
years.
part, I see comedy now as just people just like insulting other people and just being
Oh, yeah.
mean spirited for laughs, and there isn't really anything else to it. So I just kind of don't even watch a lot of it anymore because it's just
Well,
not
apart
funny to
from
me.
Gervais and Chappelle, they're both still going.
Yeah, I
strong,
mean,
aren't
I'll argue that they do this. They include that in a lot of their stuff too, but they just kind of their delivery, I guess, is what works for them. But they do
Yeah.
say they do like just target people too.
Yeah,
they? Yeah,
So,
yeah, they do. But
I suppose they're targeting the ones who are. I would have said fringe at one point, but they're not. They're the mainstream
anymore.
nutcases. Yes.
but people in the award ceremony, they don't clap and laugh anymore. They go up and slap someone in the face, don't they? Now it's the norm.
One
It's the norm.
yeah.
It really is bad, isn't it?
Wow.
Let's face it. Yeah, he's going to get work soon. I know it. I know he's going to get work soon. Will Smith.
I think
was
they already
actually-
announced he's got a
of course he
movie
will.
he's working
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yes, isn't he? Yes, I think I
I
heard
did
that
see
too.
that.
Maybe
I was
they'll be casting
watching,
him as James Bond.
I mean, I'm not against him getting work. I mean, I
Yeah.
hope that he's actually is sorrowful about his actions. I hope he does realize what he did was wrong, and hopefully he has he repents and seeks
He hasn't
forgiveness.
apologized yet, has he?
And
I think it's a
he's
very
done.
optimistic.
Nah, not
You-
officially.
Watching that with his wife.
I think he did one on Instagram, and then he did one, he did one kind of right after, but it wasn't like really that good. But I mean, who knows? I mean, that's just public, and honestly, I don't think he needs to do anything more than that. He should be. I mean, to the public, for the public, I think that's enough for us. But I mean, I would hope that he called Chris Rock and apologized.
Yeah,
and called the
he should
people
go
at the
and see
Oscars
him.
stuff like that. But that's not that.
Yeah.
We don't need to know that. He can do that himself. I don't see any reason for that. So I think I'm willing to give him I'm willing to give him a second chance or third chance or whatever. I mean, I'm willing to give as many people as many chances as they want. I mean, I think that's what Christ says. What does he tell Peter? 7 times 77 or something like that.
There's
What, we've
few
got to forgive him
different
77
varieties.
times?
Well,
John?
there's
I haven't
7
forgiven him
times.
for
There's 7
Aladdin yet.
times 7. There's 77 times.
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends which version.
Yeah. I
you
mean,
look
I go to confession every month, and I commit a lot of the sins that I confess, or a lot of this sins I confessed the month before. So if God's
Well, I
willing to
was
forgive
about
me
to
for that,
send- I
I
was
think I
about
can
to send
forgive
Odin
Will
the clip, but I
I think I'll never forgive him for Gemini Man.
Oh dear. I was just
That's a different type of
Participating
forgiveness.
worthwhile
That's a different type of
years.
forgiveness.
here. I'll just
So,
play the clip.
Whether he
It sounds-
apologizes or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
As
but
far
the
as
problem
his
is
career goes,
a narcissist apologising. He's just basically doing it for himself. So he's not really doing it. He's
But if-
apologising for anything. It's just.
yeah, I'm sorry that Chris
So,
Rock said something
he's gotta
that
do
made
it-
me slap him.
This is
He's
how
gotta
I
do it
feel in
77
confessional at
times.
times.
Who's this?
Get on with it.
I was reading something that Padre Pio used to like yell at the people in confession when they were coming back and saying the same sins over and over. It's like, why haven't you changed your ways if you're truly sorry and repentant?
Really?
Yeah,
And
like-
happy feast day to Padre Pio today.
Did he do that, John?
That's what I've read. Father
You
Miller
know he had the
probably knows
ability to
more.
read souls, Ian.
Oh, did
Yeah.
he? I did not know
Yeah.
that. No, I did not. I knew he had holes in his hands, but I didn't know he had the chance to read
The
souls,
stigmata.
basically. Wow. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I remember my dad used to talk about him all the time, and he used to have little cards with him on, like paintings of him on there and a prayer at the back of the card and stuff like that.
So I have a second-class relic of him in my scapular.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
right.
Oh, wow.
You know
Because of his
what?
habit.
I go through scapulars like I go through socks. Every time I wear a scapular, it always
So,
breaks. I have to get
this
another one.
is- I think, let me bring it up. This is one that's done by the company, I think, that did Rugged Rosary.
Okay, because I want to get one too. I need to get one.
Let me see.
You have to send me the link so I can get it.
I'm
Maybe,
trying to look
Doug-
for it.
Maybe instead of including the rosaries with Soul Finder, Doug will include a scapular option too.
Mm.
Okay, here we go. I think it's scapulars.com.
Okay.
Let me see.
I
I'm just
find
bringing it
scapulars
up.
weird. Look at that. Look at that. You put that
Yeah.
on, that is not going to, it's just going to either sink at the back. or sink at the
No, not
front.
necessarily.
Uh-huh.
Basically, this is supposed to be really strong cord. I've had this one for probably 6 months now, and it really hasn't fallen apart or anything.
Do
When I
you
was
take
a
it
kid,
off
we
in the
used to pin it.
shower?
Yeah, I have to.
You do. You take
I-
it off in the shower.
I used to pin it on my shirt, the right shoulder and the left shoulder, so it wouldn't sink down on one side, and it always used to tear or rip or whatever.
Okay, here you go. Super strong American paracord.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really it is. It's on there pretty good.
Okay.
And I mean, for $25, that thing's going to last. That's going to last.
Mm-hmm. I've worn many, and they've all.
I have too, but I mean, I bet this is probably the best one I've had. For those that are interested, I'm putting the link in the chat.
Oh,
Somebody's
Colin
gone.
Faust.
Oh, who did we lose?
Colin, he's
Archer.
probably he's occasionally if he's
That happens.
he's streaming in from his phone's died on him. So
Needs to stick it in the wall. Get some power.
we've already told him to
Here
do
he
that.
is.
Stick it on while you're recording. There he's back.
What happened there? He just went weird and frozen and it went.
That's it.
I know they started talking about spiritual things and then you vanished suddenly. I don't know what that means, Colin.
Yeah.
What I was going to
Yeah.
say, but not being a Catholic, I've no idea what that was. I was sort of scapular was a shoulder blade.
No.
No. It's a Marian devotion, a devotion to the Virgin Mary. Basically, it's kind of what so it's after the Our Lady of the Carmelites. They would wear a brown habit, but it's impossible for everybody to do that. So they kind of boil it down to a little piece of
See,
brown
look,
cloth.
that just looks flimsy to me. That really does. And then you know what? In the end, when the strings broke, I had to tie it up and put a pin and just pin it to myself in the end when I couldn't get one. So anyway, hopefully those will be. I'll go on the website and get a stronger one. I guess I'll have to get a stronger one.
As Evan says, the fivefold. I used to have one, but it didn't last very long. And Spencer, if you want to join us, I'll send you the link. Or will I regret that, John?
That's your show.
Now, Father, you have us on.
That is
so
very
obviously
non-committal. Your show.
I just haven't been able to watch the Wednesday. I mean, since I'm back to teaching, I just haven't had time to stream or to really watch a lot of streams.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that they are making a Constantine
Yeah.
2?
Yeah.
16 years later. Keanu Reeves. I love Keanu Reeves, but
Oh.
dude, you haven't made a new movie in a very long time. Bill and Ted, you know, the rehash.
Never saw it. I never saw
John
the
Wick
new one.
Don't
John
save
Wick
yourself.
4,
Just don't.
I'm not going to.
John Wick 4 is coming out.
Yeah.
And now Constantine 2, and then the horrible Matrix Resurrections.
He couldn't afford to shave his beard off, so he just kept it in the Matrix.
Yeah. Well, he shaved it off for Bill and Ted.
All right.
My son watched that movie, and subsequently, so then I ended up watching that movie, and it was better than Kenobi, but that's not hard. Is anybody else watching?
My tongue is better than that.
Is anybody watching Andor?
Nope.
Yeah, I've got him loaded up. I haven't watched it yet. I've got 3 episodes loaded up. So.
I watched it, and I won't spoil anything.
I heard it's boring.
It's not bad. Whereas Kenobi was just flat out bad. There was nothing good about that show. Andor is, to call it slow would be calling something to be it's too fast. Its pacing is problematic.
Andor.
And the only good thing about it, I mean, these characters are just from Rogue One. You know, they're all going to die, or the end game on this. But they aren't like legacy characters, so you don't really care that much if they take some license. But all the stuff that you saw in the preview, none of that has been in the first 3 episodes. It's all been normal. A very slow trudge. Stellan Skarsgård is in it, though. I don't know how they roped poor Stellan into that.
Money.
But,
he's a Marvel guy.
But he's out there. He's doing stuff. Dune 2 is going to be coming out soon, ish.
He's an MCU guy, though. That's how they got him.
Am I the only one that thought Dune was boring?
Never saw it.
I just thought it was boring.
I'm waiting for.
I can see that. What about the end? What about the end?
Yeah, it picked up at the end when the mother and the son went out into the sand, and that's when I got interested in it. But
yeah, the beginning is
about today.
The beginning is just like the book. The book starts off slow. So.
I
like it so much.
They were actually looking at purchasing that license for that.
This was on sale at Amazon for $5. The Blu-ray.
Nice.
Yeah, The Last Starfighter is so super.
That's a fun movie.
It is.
And it reminded me when there's been a book I've been reading, and the other movie was Ender's Game. That's what always reminded me of it.
Harrison
When I
Ford.
saw Ender's Game, I just thought Last Starfighter, they've just copied it. But there's also a book, it's from Ernest Cline, who did Ready Player One. It's called Armada.
You know,
and that is basically The Last Starfighter as well.
I'm going to break the chat. I got to do this for Spencer.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
So I was warning you. That's why. Now you know why I said it's your show.
Well, I decided not to do the church lay. I uploaded another one for him.
Oh, there you go.
Do you have the clip of oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name now. Oh my gosh, why can I not think of his name? The guy who's playing Padre Pio in the new Padre Pio movie.
Shia
Shia LaBeouf.
LaBeouf.
There's this scene where he's just like talking to this woman in the trailer where he's just like, confess Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior. Like, you have,
I saw the trailer this morning. I really don't know what to think of it. I mean,
the trailer is terrible. The trailer is just so choppy and like it doesn't.
I mean,
go ahead.
It really looks like it was cheaply done. I mean,
yeah.
For those that don't know, he became Catholic because of this, playing Padre Pio, the Italian monk from the 1920s. He died 67, 68. But I really hope this thing sticks. I mean, you could get caught up in the moment and everything, but you just don't convert because of an emotion.
Yeah, it's true.
I think he converted, so he talks about it with Bishop Barron. He converted almost before he actually started doing the research for the film. He said before they even started filming, the guy was like, okay, go do some research. And then he went up to the monastery of San Lorenzo and parked his truck there and like lived in the parking lot, I guess, for a couple of weeks, and just kind of like immersed himself in the life of the monastery, and that's kind of how like he started going on. But then like obviously the movie started going forward, and then he got to go to Italy and talk with like the monks over there that actually some of them actually knew Padre Pio, so he was talking to them and stuff. But it seemed like his path to conversion was almost before the movie got greenlit. Obviously, it started because of the movie.
Again, I really hope it sticks. I mean, I know he's had some mental issues, and I mean, he has a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome.
He did.
He did that. He will not divide us thing, and it was kind of fun to watch them go after the flag, try to play capture the flag.
Capture the flag, yeah.
But
yeah,
the
really crazy ones they found it in Tennessee. In the forest in Tennessee, where like stuck it in a forest, and people were like, "There's a plane! We see the plane on the camera!" And then they were like, figured out what plane that was by looking at like the maps and stuff. And then they had some guy driving by, like honking the horn to like locate, like we can hear the horn, we can hear the horn. Yeah. So they could like locate where the flag was. Man, it was great.
Roman looks like he doesn't know what this is about.
Roman is just as
So
I got lost somewhere in Shia LaBeouf.
So when Trump was inaugurated, Shai did this art project where he was going to have a flag flying or something. He will not divide us.
Well, he had a camera set up in like New York where anyone like live stream 24/7, where everyone could come by and just kind of like say what they wanted to, but it completely backfired because like
Stephen Crowder did a show there.
Yeah, I think it basically backfired on him, and so then he decided to like change it up, and he started planting a flag on the live stream, and he planted it like kind of like all over the world, and basically people on the internet decided to go find the flag and get it and turn it into a game of capture the flag, and he kept like moving it to like different locations and stuff.
And eventually,
like, there was one he had it on the top of a building, and some guy like climbed the building to get it and stuff. But the final one was in Tennessee.
Paris, I think.
Yeah. I think the last one was in Tennessee, though, but it was like some fourth in Tennessee.
Okay. I mean, that's okay. I don't understand. I don't know the motivation. It's beyond my ability.
It's
people just messing with Shia LaBeouf because he was just going crazy. He wanted it to be a political art thing, and people hijacked it, and he got upset that people hijacked it. And then people thought it was funny, and then they just kept wanting to play capture. And they turned it into a capture the flag game.
Roman,
settled down.
Don't be surprised. Although you look confused, above me, just above my camera here, is a big question mark. I had no idea.
PJ, I would be amazed if you knew what we were talking about. I would be impressed.
I know who Shia LaBeouf is, and I know he's a bit of a...
No. This is American politics here.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I know he was a bit of... anti-Trump, shall we say, but I didn't know anything about the
TDS
flag thing or any of the stuff. I'm sitting there thinking, huh?
Why did he go mental though?
Who knows? Who knows why anybody does what they do these days?
It or not, they encourage it. They encourage it by allowing people to get traction if they have got the right political opinion to get traction. So, if somebody wants work, what are they doing? Showing how much. They're behind it, so they go, oh well, you're the right person, come in, you're now popular, and it's crazy because it's not.
Ezra Miller
I will
has
ask
lost
John
his mind, and he's not getting I think they're going to release the Flash movie, which I'm wildly irritated by.
They're doing reshoots. They're doing reshoots. The last report said he was actually doing reshoots again. So we'll see what happens.
That's another thing. I wish they would just release it direct to video or whatever the streaming, because I don't want to go to Ezra Miller has killed that movie for me. Any idea I had going into it that it might be okay, which was still pretty shaky. His outside behavior has just ruined. And actors can ruin a film.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. It has for me, but from a studio perspective, I mean, they've spent like hundreds of millions of dollars on this movie, and they got to try and get some back.
My joke on that is that they can turn a $200 million loss into a $500 million loss, which is what they'll end up doing, I think.
Potentially. I mean, it's I agree, because they haven't obviously spent they haven't done
all the advertising
or stuff like that. So yeah, it's possible, but I'm wondering if they just do like a low. They don't run marketing on it. We'll see. Who knows? I mean, I just don't. I think people are tuned out. He's a terrible Flash, anyways. Like Zack
He is.
Snyder
Oh,
failed.
I agree.
I've never liked him as a Flash, and I love the Flash.
Yeah.
And
He also
as I
can't
saw him,
run.
The outfit
He runs
just looked
weird.
bad.
Oh,
Also,
I hated the costume. Hated it.
he shouldn't be playing the Flash because he's gay, and straight people are not allowed to play gay characters, and so gay characters are not allowed to play straight people. That's no, isn't that the rule?
rules.
Isn't that the rule? No.
That's their
Someone
rules.
should tell Neil Patrick Harris that then.
Anyway, whatever.
Doctor Horrible's sing along blog. Neil Patrick Harris was really good in that.
Well,
What is
question
this?
then, my
It's
question
a fan trailer.
Oh, made by
Oh.
the Corridor Crew, wasn't it?
I think so. It was perfect.
Yeah, it's made by the Corridor Crew. Yeah, it's made by the
I
Corridor.
just
I've
figured
seen
play
this.
that in the background.
Yeah, I've seen this.
Is that the Firefly from Gotham?
Yeah, they nicked a lot of
yeah.
clips and they shot some stuff like this bit. they shot. Yeah, so
No,
but that's someone that works in the office.
Oh,
They got to
okay.
play Batgirl. Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
similar
I'm just
to the girl.
gonna.
This is the one that's been cancelled.
Yeah,
We're
Yeah.
all that's left.
Yeah.
And right here,
yeah. I
right
just want
now,
to play this part.
the universe needs you.
Everybody's got a mask on. I got one you that would. Every now and then, it slips a little bit.
There's good and there's evil. And evil must be punished.
That's why you're totally cancelled.
The police have got it wrong.
Firefly was
It's
just
rubbish.
a decoy. But if not him, then who?
The Warner Brothers. And you're the write-off.
Oh,
We're the hot one.
So comedy, I will say comedy is not dead because that was funny, but stand-up comedy I still think is dead. But that was good. I like that.
You saw that before, haven't you?
No, that's
I haven't seen that
Oh, you
one.
had it.
No, that was new
Yeah, I
to me.
didn't see-
Okay.
I thought it was the Corridor Crew one.
send me that link because we'll do a
I
story
will.
on that.
Yeah.
Well, it deserved to be. If it was woke, then it deserves to come down. That's what I say. But a lot of people have been saying that the actual woke stuff now is dying, and
No.
sooner or later. That's what a lot of people.
Who's
have been
saying that?
I'm not sure.
I wish it
Uh,
was.
I saw. I think Clownfish was saying it at one point. Clownfish was saying they think the war is almost over, and a lot of people are beginning to notice. Blah blah blah.
Rings of Power is the example. I would also argue that I mean I haven't watched any House of the Dragon, but clearly has a ton of just disgusting stuff in it. I mean, I saw an article about
House
like
of the
a
Dragon,
orgy
I've
and
watched.
stuff.
Never
So
watched
Um,
House of the Dragon because I did not like Game of Thrones. First couple of episodes I watched, but didn't like it.
Well,
I like Game of Thrones.
It's supposed to be
season
really
five.
graphic. I mean, with
It-
the
it-
sex and
it's-
everything.
yeah,
It does suffer from a lot of the same problems Game of Thrones does. Not as much of it, at least not so far. But there is some, and when it is there, it's cringe because it was cringe during Game of Thrones. The storyline itself is interesting though, and you know, and I know Rings of Power, and I hate saying those words together, is a cleaner show. But in the war of the
Cleaner.
fantasy series House of the Dragon,
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
Do you
which
know
also
why-
could have been said in House of the Dragon.
do you know why I didn't like Game of Thrones? And I know it's the sex and violence aspects of it. See a program that throws in sex, the violence part, yes, but if they throw in sex just to get you to watch it, and then as soon as you start watching it, they cut it out. It shows it was not needed, and it was only there for an idea. You look at Spartacus. They had Spartacus.
Oh, that was very graphic.
That
Yeah,
was
on
very
HBO.
graphic, but they did not stop. They continue all the way through because they were showing you that was that was life in Rome. So it was part and parcel of the story. Whereas Game of Thrones, they put it in there to get you to watch it. As soon as you're watching it, they cut it, and that showed that it was just there for titillation. And I cannot.
No, and those scenes didn't need to happen that way. They could have done the fade out as soon as the action was starting, so to speak, and gone back. The violent stuff I don't mind. I mean, that's
The violent stuff,
I'm
yes,
a military guy, so it's my life. But the sex stuff is cringy, and it really that's the stuff that pulls you out of the moment.
Yeah.
No, it's used to enslave you.
Yeah, I always find if they put it in as titillation to get it drag you in. So we're saying, "Oh, look, boobies, come on, watch," and then they actually say, "Right now you're watching, we're cutting out." Then it shows it's only there to get the views. It's
it's trying to legitimize pornography.
Yeah. Whereas things like Spartacus was a lot worse. There was a lot more nudity and a lot more sex in it, but it was part and parcel of the world and the story they were trying to tell. So it gets a pass because it was showing you how cheap life was and how it was just
You're right, there's no need to see Doctor Who's bottom at all, really. Let's face it. So
that was shocking.
I will say,
shocking.
The Matt Smith episode where he showed up at Clara's apartment. That's
the wrong episode. That was Doctor Who.
One episode, I know.
You also saw Matt Smith butt on House of the Dragon, which was unfortunate.
I never saw
that. Was something I can't unsee now.
Yeah.
His character is still the highlight of the show. Because he's like, you want to like him, but then he does something terrible. But it's just as far as an interesting character goes, he is definitely the most interesting character.
So I got to play this because they mentioned they them. It reminded me of this clip from the Babylon Bee. I don't know if you guys saw this or not.
And what of your pronouns?
What's a pronoun?
Never mind. My pronouns are she, her. I am standing on the stolen land of the indigenous orc peoples, and I am wearing a green cloak.
Yes. I'm standing right here.
It's for the blind.
If they're blind, why do they need to know that you're wearing a green cloak?
Okay, here we go. Ableism and mansplaining. You Numenorians are so privileged, what with your patriarchal society.
If I may.
Excuse me, I'm speaking. I'm speaking. You have no idea what I have to go through on a daily basis. Men catcalling me, assuming that I can't fight because I'm a tiny woman half their size, and don't even get me started on the man spreading
accurate.
within the Elvish community.
My lady, look out!
Now LeBron James needs to show up and say that this guy's
First maiden of the Elven
who's
realm.
next.
Here we go.
I swear that no harm will come to you as long as I live.
You killed they.
Well, yeah, he was an orc. They are the bad guys, you know.
You assume that they're the bad guys because of your internalized colonialist presumptions. They're actually an oppressed, marginalized group that has been driven out by ethnocentric, xenophobic Numenorians.
Another orc approaches.
Oh my goodness.
That is
Wow.
hilarious. Now, if that was the Rings of Power, I would be watching it.
Stephen, of course you won't. Have you seen the colour of her hair?
You know,
He needed to like knock her out though. The guy was like, "You're
Well, but
please stop
even-
talking," and then I gotta fight.
But John, did you see the end of that skit?
No, I haven't seen the end of that.
Okay, I got to bring it up because it's totally worth it. Okay, I still got it
Does-
up here. Let me.
Did he knock her out?
No,
Did
even
she
better.
attack him? Did she eventually
Even
attack him?
better. Even better. Here we go.
Oh gosh.
Oh, you got the little
People
wheelchair.
approaches. I can smell it.
Oh, geez. Of course.
Oh, no.
Oh, hey, howdy. I'm in a little bit of a pickle. I think I just got turned around coming over the Misty Mountains cold. Whew. And hoping you can give me some direction.
So he eventually joins their side. The
No,
Numenorian
no,
guy.
no. Well, he was wearing
No.
a MAGA hat.
No,
No, I
it's
saw the
not
guy-
the other guy.
The Numenorian, the
Oh,
human who
yeah,
was
yeah,
like, "What are
yeah,
you talking
yeah.
about?" He seems to
Yeah.
have
Goodness gracious.
the
He
brainwashing was
became an ally.
successful.
Yeah, he became an ally.
Yeah.
I don't like that word either.
Usual rubbish.
Wow. Did anybody, and I'm sorry if you did anybody else watch She-Hulk this week?
Why?
Watching somebody's review, he starts his review by giving a wee line from it and just goes, and then the rest of it's just hilarious.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. Like, none of it is like this. The woke is not going away. I mean, we have She-Hulk.
no.
You can point to Obi-Wan. You can point to Rings of Power. You can point to House of the Dragon. You can point to The Boys. All like the big genre shows, Wheel of Time. Like none of that stuff is going away. I mean, all of that stuff is still front and center. Those are kind of like Bridgerton on Netflix is huge. So like none of that's going away. They're still putting it out. I will say though that it does seem like there is some kind of non-woke stuff that is also getting produced. I think The Samaritan is up there.
Samaritan was really enjoyable.
Terminal List on Amazon. All these are on Amazon, and then Reacher as well. I found that interesting. Right. Obviously, Netflix has some stuff too. The League of Legends show I thought was actually pretty well done. And then people are saying good things about the Cyberpunk show, but I haven't seen that, so I can't really comment.
I didn't really
they actually released this.
I appreciated it because it was surprising some of the stuff it had in it. It was just.
That's not the official Twitter account. That's not the official one.
Okay.
The official one is She-Hulk Attorney at Law and it has a blue check. That's some like
fan fiction with
but to be able to get that type of She-Hulk Twitter, unless it's made, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, that's a fan poster.
Why did I have to put She-Hulk Attorney of Law on the title? Why can't you just call it She-Hulk?
Because why do they do anything they do in that show, Ian?
But also they call Magnum PI. Why did they call it? Why don't you just call it Magnum?
That's what She-Hulk.
Might get confused with ice cream.
What, PI?
Yeah.
But the point is, they wanted She-Hulk Attorney was supposed to be a humorous legal show.
It is not,
despite the fact they've admitted they can't actually write legal dramas and courtroom scenes.
No.
Yeah, they admitted that.
They also can't write comedy. Yeah, it's
It's basically it's Rings of Power all over again. They like, let's get Tolkien and do a Tolkien show, but then we're gonna write the book that Tolkien never wrote, despite him writing that book. These people are like, let's do She-Hulk and write a legal drama, but we suck at writing legal dramas, but we're gonna do it anyway. It's like, well, where's Kevin Feige at Marvel saying shut it down? But he's clearly been captured by the he's that Numenorian guy in that Babylon Beast skit. He's been captured. If he wasn't already.
Daredevil is going to be in one of the upcoming episodes. There are only 3 left. I only have to endure 3 more. But Daredevil is going to be in here, and I don't know what they're going to do to poor Matt Murdock, because every other man on the show takes a beating in a sometimes literal, sometimes figurative way, because that's the show.
They're going to kingpin him.
You know, I heard.
Well, it looks like Gary's running with that title.
All right. I heard that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that poster does pretty much summarize like what the show.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, clearly that's a fan. Like that's an annoying stand, but that's the people they're trying to appeal to. So I don't have any problem with Gary running a headline on that. You just got to make sure that's.
I think Daredevil. They're going to forget the. They're going to start from afresh, and they're going to forget the was it Netflix version Daredevil, and they're going to.
So that's the concern.
We had so many. He said it. Charlie Cox said it. They're doing it's a whole new thing. He said this is not a season 4, it's a season 1. And then all of these people were just like, "Oh no, what are you talking about? It's just a soft reboot." I'm like, "Well, do you even know what you're saying?" Like he said, whole new thing. I mean, that's pretty clear. And then even if you're doing a soft reboot is rebooting it. Like that's what that Terminator Dark Fate was. That is a soft reboot. And what do? They went and killed John Connor in the opening minutes. Yeah. That's a soft reboot because it completely takes you out of the regular continuity. That is what a soft reboot is. So I didn't even understand what these people are saying.
The director said that he was sorry that he did that.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, he is now. I don't. Yeah, I think he's he said that he was sorry that the movie didn't do as well as what it did. I don't think he was.
Same thing.
I don't think he was.
No, he did. No, he did. I read an article on it. I don't know how true it is, but he actually said that he was sorry that he killed John Connor.
Oh, I didn't see that. He's sorry that.
I don't know if it's true.
I'm sure I heard that one as well. That's what he said because he realised that's what caused the failure.
I think there was a lot more.
There's a lot more than that.
Was the initial thing, because as soon as people saw that was it. Without the rest of the movie, it didn't matter what it could have. The rest of the movie could have been great as far as people were concerned. The fact that happened right at the beginning, they just tuned out. The movie was a failure from that point.
Well,
Well, the failure began in the marketing when the dude was like attacking Terminator fans for as misogynists. When they were just like, "Why are you replacing these characters with females?" And that's clearly what he did in the movie. So, and then he was like attacking
the
them
F out of you.
Yeah. It's almost like, oh, we figured out what your movie's about, and you're upset about it now.
That's what I do. See, when a movie comes out, if they start telling me the story, that's fine. I'll give it a chance. If they start by saying it's got this, and don't mention the story, I'm automatically out because
Eternal, Shang-Chi, all those Marvel Phase 4 movies. They didn't talk about the movies at all. They talked about the diversity of the cast, and this is the first of this. And now I have a hero too, but you didn't know anything about the movie other than
I did
stuff you didn't care about.
So something that was a little bit refreshing. I did a story today on Avatar: The Way of Water, and I was actually surprised. I was like, "It's Disney, right?" So I was clearly thought like they're going to do Disney marketing. It's going to be like all about the identity of the Na'vi, but like no, the first thing I've kind of really seen about it promoting it is James Cameron is just like, I hope people come and see it. And he's like, I think the story will bring people in. It's not just the tech and everything. And then you had Sam Worthington also saying like it's about protecting the family. So I was just like shocked that these are like the opening blows that we're seeing from their marketing.
That's pretty good.
This is Disney, and I'm just like, well, this is.
Well, you know why, don't you, John? Because basically, James Cameron has control over everything that he does, and he doesn't even have an agent or a manager. So they probably came to him to distribute it. He controls it 100%.
Well, so I will acknowledge that, but he's also Terminator too. And we saw what happened.
Yeah, but he got paid to say that, John. That's the thing. Yeah. That's the big difference. So the two Terminator films that he actually said, was behind. I swear he needed the money to make Avatar 3. Was it 3 and 4, whatever it is? So he took the money and said exactly what they wanted him to say.
He also has funded the Titanic.
Yeah.
Originally with Terminator, he wanted to do a trilogy though, and that's dead now. Like he had a whole trilogy for the Terminator starting.
That franchise is definitely
to actually take into account if he says it for one just for the money, then people are automatically saying, well, it doesn't matter what he says about the new one. Look what he did for that.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what leads me to believe that he got paid, because he said the first thing about the one with the girl from Game of Thrones in it, didn't he? And then he said that the new one. He said that with the last one, didn't he? So it just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? So he got paid. He definitely got paid.
He did that with the Terminator one, the Avatar. People are going to go, well, look what he said about that. So what he says doesn't have the same impact because he's been bought off before. So
did you guys see there had a round table with him, Tarantino and Edgar Wright and stuff like that, and James Cameron was there, and so there's Tarantino sounding off about how he thinks that things shot on video is like watching TV, and the film shouldn't be shot on video. And James Cameron just took the piss out of him completely, saying that, don't you know that we're shooting on digital? Don't you know digital is the way to go and stuff like that? And poor old Tarantino was looking red in the face, giving it all that should be shot on 35, blah, blah, blah. Well, that was absolutely hilarious. And basically, that's the way everything's going, isn't it? Everything's been controlled by the studio. Everything's been controlled by apart from James Cameron, because James Cameron has total control of what he's doing. Definitely, I can see that now.
Except when he sells out. So that's what I'm saying. So because he sold out once, does it matter what he says after that? Because fine well he could be bought. So that's what I'm saying. If he's already done it once, so anything he says afterwards, I just think, well, maybe they just paid it to say that just to make it sound good.
I think it's too late for these sequels. I don't think.
Oh, I agree. When did Avatar get released? The first one?
2008.
I don't even remember.
2008, 2009.
So 1346.
It's been a minute.
I think 2008 or 2009.
Where has poor Sam Worthington been all this time? We haven't heard a peep out of him.
2009 is IMDb.
2009. Okay, so my son was 9, and now he's 22. When you say things like that, it really puts in perspective just how long it's been. I mean, I don't know. Did they re-release Avatar in theaters so that people?
They are. It's coming out today.
Excited.
Came out today.
Yeah, they're
I-
going to
I-
do it.
Been
Okay.
re-released today. Yeah,
But I,
today
Ian, I
is
think I think it's lost. I think it's definitely. I mean, talk about losing momentum.
Yeah.
You've been dead in the water for a very, very long time.
Cameron talks about that. He did an interview with the Associated Press, and he said that's why they're doing 3, 4, and 5 already, and they'll be like spanning 2 to 3 years out afterwards. So they'll be more involved in the people's consciousness. But so
I think it's a mistake. You see what happens with Sin City. They did the first Sin City, it was a huge success, and then 5 years later they did the sequel, and nobody went to see it.
Yeah.
Well, not nobody, but you know what I mean.
And it wasn't nearly as good a product either. But
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
I
You're
think
right.
I think Avatar might have
been a good product.
Hmm.
I think it might have a decent opening weekend just because
Yes.
people will be like, "Oh, I haven't seen this in so many years. Let's see
Yeah.
what it's like." Whether or not it will have legs like Top Gun
Right.
Maverick will depend on the
Yep.
actual product of it. And I think
reading my mind.
if it is good, people will do it. I mean, Top Gun Maverick shows that you can have long legs and stay in theaters for a long time and make a lot of money. And people will go back to see it over and over again if it's good. So that'll like,
Do you know what I went to see recently? And I think Father knows. I went to see Jaws in IMAX.
Oh yeah.
Oh, how's
And
that?
you know what? The movie is still brilliant. What can
Yeah,
I
it
say? Even though I've seen it so many times on TV and on Blu-ray, on DVD. I sat in the cinema and I was entertained from start to finish.
Well, remind me, Ian, did you
I've never
see
seen it,
Bullet
so-
Train yet?
No. I tried to see Bullet Train, but I just haven't had the time to see it. Sorry.
I haven't seen it yet either.
Oh.
No.
And Father brings it up every time we come on. Every time we come on, I'm like,
But it was a
no.
choice between Bullet Train and Jaws. I took Jaws because I know
Well,
I know
well,
I
that's a
was gonna
safe.
love
That's,
it.
that's a safe bet, though.
Yeah. But do you know the bit where the woman comes and she slaps Chief Brody in the face? So when I've watched every version, even the Blu-ray, you don't see the tear in her face. But when I was watching on IMAX, you can see the tear in her face. That's how clear the picture was. I was like, wow. You know what I mean? It was just a whole new way of watching Jaws, on the huge screen with the new sound mix and stuff. It was a joy to watch. What can I say? What a great movie that was.
Well, it's joy.
Still is.
It's a joy to watch if you're watching it on that, even if you're watching it in that.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I don't know about that. I never watched
No,
films on my phone.
the thing is, it's such a
I'm
good
with you,
movie.
Ian.
Even
No way
if-
watching the movie on the phone.
Yeah.
No matter what quality you're watching, and it's just such a good movie. It's so iconic. How you could even listen to it and you still know what's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
That's what
And
I mean.
It's so fantastically directed as well. It's unbelievably directed incredibly well. And as I said, as a director myself, I know what he's doing. I know what Spielberg's doing on screen, but I guess it goes way over the head of normies that watch that film. But it's such a good film. If you get a chance to watch Jaws and IMAX in the cinema, literally take it, because it's a different experience watching it that way.
Boy, I hope they bring Jaws 4 back.
Yeah. that was Kitner's son, wasn't it? Got eaten by the shark.
You mean I should go and watch Jaws instead of watching The Woman King? But
But I don't know. I saw E.T. in IMAX as well, but the very first shot of the stars, oh my God, you can tell it was a still. Because it was so detailed, you can tell that Spielberg just put up a still of the stars. It just looked crap. But yeah,
Oh yes. Let me bring that up.
that's terrific. Absolutely.
Oh, that is fun.
shouldn't that be a boat-eating shark?
Mm,
The boat's
That's
not eating
Quint.
shark.
Quint trying to get
Where's
the crew?
You just
one of them's in the shark.
Eaten by the shark.
Yeah.
See, the thing I don't get about Funkos.
That's basically there.
Oh, he is. Okay, I see him there now.
Okay.
So it's just spinning it, but I had to.
It.
I had to take it out, but I
No,
decided-
that's not it.
Krusty the Clown.
Oh, it's not?
It's Krusty.
Oh, it's
And
Krusty.
The silly thing is, this thing is selling in good condition for a few hundred.
Mm.
I just buy it because I wanted a clown.
But no, shorts. I love Jaws, and I picked that up when I was in the last Comic Con I went to. First
And
one
I went
back
to
after the
see.
pandemic. I bought that.
Yeah, I went to see Wrath of Khan when got released in the cinema as well. I just went through all the old movies that they're releasing, and I just thought, you know what? It's a shame they don't make movies like this anymore, where they actually concentrated on the audience rather than what they're doing now. It's just a shame, really.
Yeah.
But you should have seen the audience for Wrath of Khan. They all look like geeks. All of them, right? So I'm serious.
Shocking.
I'm serious, right? Do you know what made? Do you know what made me laugh? Right, is when the film had finished, Wrath of Khan had finished, and the credits were going up. Nobody was leaving the cinema. Everybody was waiting for. Everybody was reading the credits, and that's how you know they're geeks. So
Yeah.
they all stayed till the last line.
I don't know what a geek looks like. I don't know what one looks like at all.
Let's see that and over there
And me.
here.
Oh, it's so
I don't
funny.
know what it looks like at all. Not at all.
But it's honestly, old films are the best as far as I'm sounding old myself, but seriously, you guys should just check out those films when they
Yeah,
get released.
Father, I had a Captain America stood that size. You pulled his arm and it flipped round. And
Yeah, but I got these. I went to McDonald's to get these. These are the Happy Meal toys. I mean, I probably hit 5 different McDonald's in town just to be able to get them.
Oh wow!
That was like me when original Star Wars came out and had the cards and the bubble gum.
Oh,
I
have
kept going to shops to
them.
buy them to get the whole set.
Well,
so just
I
like,
will just say that I didn't buy a meal for each one. I mean, they did sell the toys
okay.
individually.
Oh, they do that now?
Where's the
You used
fun
to
in
have to-
that?
You used
get
to
a
have to
nugget,
buy
you
the
get a
Happy
toy.
Meal.
do you remember
Well,
those
it's like
bubble
that.
gums you used to get with the cards?
I remember
I had
doing that
so
for,
many.
like,
I had to put it
BB
in a
and
can.
stuff like that.
Yeah, because I had to put them all in a can because they taste
I
awful.
didn't eat all those Happy Meals to get the toys.
Oh,
I
you
still
should have
would've
done.
it.
I did 1 or 2 Happy Meals, but that,
Mm.
yeah.
I must admit, I don't know exactly how tied in cinemas are to their distributors, but I do wonder if they could actually sort of start making money by showing old films again.
Yeah, I think they could.
Yeah, I know.
I think Jaws. I mean, Jaws did pretty good. I mean, it was Labor Day weekend, which was kind of an abysmal weekend. If you look at the top 6, 2 of them were old movies, and Jaws was pretty much in the mix though. But nobody made money over Labor Day this year, which was kind of weird.
Mm.
Oh, Maverick did.
No, Maverick. No, but it didn't make a ton of money that weekend. It was like the number 1 or number 2 movie, but they re-released Spider-Man: No Way Home, and of course, and then Jaws. But pardon me. But nothing. It was still a really low
yeah,
yield
that's right.
weekend. It was like
The new No
53
Way
million
Home is coming out.
for everything. Yeah,
Is it-
it's like the more fun version. It's just deleted
like
scenes. Yeah.
Like 15 minutes more scenes.
I think it's
isn't
11.
it?
I think it's 11 minutes. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I was
See,
wondering
and
what
sometimes
happened
that's good and
because they-
sometimes it's bad. The extended version of Gladiator, for example, isn't better because it's longer. It's
I
just,
will
Yeah.
say, I was reading recently that they have the Criterion edition of the Mad World, which is supposed to have both versions. So there's like a version where there's 20 minutes of additional film.
Why don't they make films like that anymore?
I would love to
was a
see that.
fun movie. That was absolutely fun. That one.
Mm.
Because someone might get their fifis hurt by something someone says.
I mean, the original cut was like 4 hours.
I think most films are like that, aren't they?
wow.
I was just looking at YouTube today. It was about Uncle Buck, and they were talking about the bits that they took out and stuff like that. And it was really interesting. The stuff, like you remember that scene where Macaulay Culkin is in the dining hall and he opens his lunch, and there's all these things that Uncle Buck put in there. Apparently, that was a storyline that they cut out the film, where every day he would give him something different, and the kids got interested in it, and therefore he became popular because of what Uncle Buck did. But they cut that all out of the movie. So it was very interesting to watch the stuff that they did cut out Uncle Buck, because I really liked Uncle Buck.
I will
Yes,
I enjoyed
say,
it as well.
that's a YouTube one. It actually said the missing Uncle Buck story, and they basically tell you all the bits to cut out because there's a bit with a truck. It goes by, and it just goes by at one point. But accordingly, that was even a whole part in the movie that got cut.
well,
He has a
I
the
will
clown
say
as
that
well.
if they did release
Oh, the
the
clown.
R-rated cut of Aladdin with the Robin Williams and Gottfried bits, I'd watch that.
Mm. But in Uncle Buck,
Supposedly
he has
there
to fight
is,
the clown.
but-
He has a big fight.
You
with
don't
the
want to
clown.
watch the Will Smith version again, Father?
Never saw it.
It's terrible.
Neither did
It's
I.
directed by what's his name? The guy who directed Snatch, wasn't it?
Well, heck, the Critical Drinker did a
Guy
video on that the
Ritchie.
other day.
It was directed by Guy Ritchie. Yeah.
Aladdin was
Aladdin, yeah, Aladdin
Yeah.
was directed by Guy Ritchie.
the terrible new version.
Yes.
Oh golly! Wow.
Yeah.
Talking of which, you sent a photo. I think Critical Drinker just. I haven't watched it. I think Critical Drinker was one of those who dropped a review of Andor and said it wasn't bad. I think quite several
okay,
people
then.
have done that.
It's not bad. It is slow. There's it's not like Kenobi was both slow and bad. Boba Fett was objectively
Well,
bad.
but I mean, it could be like The Mandalorian. The first one was pretty good.
No.
But it's not like the Mandalorian. It's
No.
not like the Mandalorian.
I'm not watching Andor. I don't know
Greatest down
anything
here in
about
the-
it. Don't want to.
Greatest down here in the parsec
is,
just
so-
charges into a rhino den and gets mauled. This gets saved by the tiny thing. He says his weapons are his religion and gives them up to the Jawas right away. Terrible.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's
that is
the one.
Yeah. Never mind.
See,
Could
I
be
never
worse.
understand why they actually take a franchise and think, oh, good, now we can tell a story. So we'll strip everything out about the franchise that made it and then change it completely. I just never understood that.
I've seen several people comment that what they seem to be doing, Disney in particular nowadays, is they're wanting to say, this is ours now. Forget everything you've seen before.
Uh-huh.
You know, we don't want you to bother with old style Terminator. Terminator is ours now. We don't want you to bother old style. Star Wars is ours now. You know,
Yeah, they do.
I
They
used
want
to-
you to. They want you to search for Star Wars and see theirs.
yeah, they
Yeah,
want
probably.
that to be the
Yeah.
only thing.
So I used to like wonder like who are the people that like this stuff, and then I talked to a guy at a meditation about it, and he was just like, yeah, I don't actually think about it. I just like go home, turn the TV on, and like sit there and watch. Like he just
Yeah.
like he literally like moved his hands and was like, I just let it come and hit me, and I hit like that was just like I had a moment there. I was just like, holy crap, there are people that are like this. They don't
Yeah.
really
It's made
care
for a
about
younger
like the history of the
It's
they
made
don't
for
care
a
about the
younger
history of the
generation.
franchise. They don't care about the ongoing story. They don't care
Wow.
about the continuity. They just sit there and they want to like
Yeah.
be hit in the face with like cool like CGI spectacle. And I think that's and I think for the most part, Hollywood's been able to get away with that because they haven't had like a resistance to it, and people have kind of accepted it. But I would also say I think a lot of the Phase 1 Marvel films, which kind of like ushered a lot of that in, were actually good films too. Like they had
Yeah.
good stories, good characters, and interesting
Yeah, but-
themes. Whereas like
but
now
they're
it's
not
just like
making
trash.
the money now, though, John.
Yeah.
That they
Well,
were,
right, because the story's crap
they're-
now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
you can't just have flashy things. You got to have
Yeah.
a story to support it. Otherwise, you'll get that big weekend, and then no
Yeah.
one's talking about your movie anymore. And
See-
that's
Right.
why Maverick
The-
hung in there, whereas Thor: Love and Thunder did not.
See what they've made it for two types of people: younger generation and normies. It's just somebody or something much. Like for instance, Wheel of Time. You know how I think about the Wheel of Time. Watched 30 seconds and I swore for an hour and a half, and then I started watching the rest. But because I'm a big Wheel of Time, I've had all the books. I get rid of the books because it ruined the book for me. But my brother-in-law said it was great. Wasn't it fantastic? It's almost as good as Game of Thrones. And I just went, oh. And then at that time I was out at a party with my nephew, was telling me how Boba Fett was the greatest thing on TV, best person in the whole Star Wars franchise, the best villain, the best heroes in the Star Wars. Boba Fett was fantastic. And I'm sitting there thinking, really? If you ever watched the other ones, but they don't count.
Yeah,
And
exactly. That's the point, right? That's where you're
Yeah.
getting at, though. You asked him if he watched the other
They
ones, and he
don't
said he didn't care because he probably hasn't watched them.
Yeah, he's not. He's just watched the new stuff, and
Yeah.
he knows about Darth Vader. He knows about, but they don't count because, and that's the thing, made for the younger generation that have never seen anything.
I
So-
think though also that a lot of people, a lot of normies don't know structure of TV shows, films, and you know, just in general. So when they presented by the surface of something, they just accept it for what it is. But if they have the knowledge of the way something's constructed as a show, see, they'll watch something that looks spectacular, and then then they can't figure out why there's that feeling that nothing's really happened or it doesn't work, because they can't figure it out, and they don't want to figure it out, and they don't care because they're 9-to-5ers. Right. They come home, they eat their burger, they watch something on TV, see a bit of sports, and it starts all over again for them. But for people like us, we can see things, right?
Yeah, but also remember, they're making it for the short attention span. They're doing something happens, then flash and bang, so they go like that. So the people that go like that and go, watch it, and as soon as the big bang, back to the phone. And that's what it is. That's why you get every 5 minutes something happens. And it's to get people to look up from the phones. So they're not paying attention to the story. They don't care about the story as long as there's something happening at regular intervals that people will continue having it on the screen and look up. And that's the problem.
Because they don't probably watch hours while the people actually
flash, no bang.
Yeah.
Well, I also think that I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but I mean, the Disney CEO has made it very clear that the content that they're creating, you're talking about this, like it is targeted towards like a new generation, and I definitely agree with that, because Bob Chapek has made it clear that that's exactly what he wants to do with the content they're creating, to change the value system of the people that are watching his content. I mean, he made that abundantly clear back in February when he was like all caught in that controversy with the state of Florida. So I definitely think that's across the board, and I don't think it's just Disney. I think you see that from the other executives are doing that too. They want you to watch this stuff so that they can change the way that you think about the world and change the systems and change the values that maybe your parents have been trying to teach you in, but they're showing you this. And I think there is a huge danger in that, because I do think that, and this is something I've like really changed my mind on over the past couple of years, is that I used to think, there's no way like people are really being convinced about how to like live their lives like watching these TV shows, and now I'm just like, well, I definitely think they are. I think there's plenty of evidence to support it, and you just have to look around the world, the world that you're walking around in to see it.
They basically wanted everybody to turn out like that.
Yeah, have you watched Equilibrium? That's pretty much what they want. They want people to be like taking. Yeah, I mean, we are kind of on that. I mean, everyone is like. I saw a report that like 77 million people are on like prescription like antidepressant drugs. And it's pretty much like what Equilibrium was. Take a pill, go to the factory, work, and come back and just be gray, boring, and not see the excitement and good things in life.
That's what they see us as.
Frankenstein is like the Frankenstein monster is like he's not that bad.
But that's what they see us as. Basically just old resurrected things that are unimportant.
No, I mean, you see that across the board. I mean, obviously we're talking entertainment and stuff here, but if you look at like the politics and stuff and what's going on.
But John, because of people like us, right? If you keep going and saying the things that you believe in, then hopefully that will filter through to the normies. Like I give you an example, right? How I discovered everyone, like from Gary to Bolstrek to everyone right across the board, was because I was watching Doctor Who, reading the reviews and thinking, what? How could they think this is good? It's absolute nonsense. And then I discovered, who did I discover first? Bolstrek I discovered first. And then through him, it was Gary, and then it was Gary. Then I realized there were people that thought like me. So I think if you guys keep going, I think it's best that you keep going and don't stop until the message gets out there. That's why I think it's really important what you're doing, all of you. It's really important.
So I mean, it's basically the same thing in reverse, right? If Disney thinks that they can do that, well, we can do the same thing too, right?
Exactly.
So it's and I think that's why they that's why there's obviously like you see like the YouTube stuff with whatever her name is, like trying to like get governments to enact laws so that they can enforce those laws on YouTube and stuff like that. Because they see that as a threat too. They're not stupid. But yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. We have to keep doing what we're doing and keep persevering. And that's the one thing that you have to be strong, because I definitely think things are not going to, like, I know you're saying that you think the woke is out. I 100%.
No, I
disagree.
don't. I'm just saying
Okay.
that.
Oh, well, some people were
Yeah.
saying it, I guess.
Yeah.
You're reporting on other people. I don't think that's happening. I think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better anytime soon. I mean, it is. So the regime is gonna keep pushing the stuff that they want to push.
I think the worst thing you can do is argue with other live streamers. Just let them do their thing and just make sure your voice is heard, your displeasure about what's happening, and then hopefully if we stick by each other, we'll punch through, because it is. I don't care what anyone says. It is really, really important that they have to realize that what they're doing is not right. I actually totally believe it's not right.
Here's a good example.
Yeah. Well, that's terrible. Exactly. And it's clearly aimed at like probably teenagers. And,
Satan's teen daughter.
Yeah, geez.
It's loads of fun, kids.
What?
Just disgusting.
Go back to that first line again.
Yes.
Father, no, you need to like bless this.
13 years after being impregnated by Satan.
Sorry. I thought it said 13 years old.
Yeah, I thought I read that first, and then I had to reread it because even
and that's on FX.
Of course.
Man.
See, John, what you were saying there as well, and Ian. See, the thing is, people assume because we're all on the same channel, we're talking about the similar things, that we're in an echo chamber, we agree on everything. Roman can tell you, me and Jim can sort of have big disagreements in certain things.
Nerd
People
fights.
to the point they thought we had fallen out because we were having an argument.
Yeah.
We weren't. We disagreed in Spider-Man. We had a big argument about it, but as soon as we came off channel, we were chatting about organising an extreme. People automatically assume we all agree on everything. We don't. We agree on certain things, but
that's because
I was actually going to point out when Ian was talking about that, it was talking about like not getting into like arguments, and I think what he was talking about is basically like trying to disparage other people or put them down rather than have like an honest debate about a movie.
Well, no, talking about the topic is not, me throwing insults at PJ, which I do, but that's different. So
it's all good fun, right?
But you know what would be better than that? Predator.
I wanted to point out what like Ian was saying. That's kind of like, I don't want to like usually get into those like personal spats either. I think that's just utterly ridiculous. And I always just like try and pray for the people that are getting into them, because I don't think it's like a good thing. I think there's a good parable. It's not a parable really. It's a passage where the apostles come to Christ and they're like, this person is like, they come to him like, this person is performing miracles in your name. And like, what should we do? And Christ is like, if he's performing miracles in my name, like, what's wrong with that? Like, he's doing it in my name, right? So that's a good thing. Obviously, you want to bring him in, you would probably want to try and welcome him in if he's doing that, performing the miracles in Christ's name, bring him into the larger body of Christ, and make sure that he's also like properly catechized and everything, and he can maybe preach even better in Christ's name. But I think that's kind of that's something that I really like kind of take to heart, and I try and live that out now. And
it's the same, John, when we are talking about having a spat or a slagging match, like Roman slags me quite regularly. But
good on you, Roman.
I like that term.
Yeah, but the thing is, we've been streaming a while together, so we know each other's personalities, so we know fine well. Roman knows if he slags me, I'm not going to take it personally, and it's part, and I know he's not being sincere about it. It's all laugh and joke, but it's when people actually do it to people they don't know, or people they assume will find something funny, or they just disagree with. I don't like that when a personal attack, but when you're friends, a personal attack between friends is different because it's not done out of malice, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, I do agree with you when people are attacking just because you disagree with. I definitely dislike that.
Well, the thing is,
it's just not there.
I think that they can't understand that you and Jim or you and Roman can have a disagreement because they can't. They look at everything in one block. I mean, you just have to look at them. How often do you see the face left eating itself. How often do you see something will come along and someone will say something slightly different and they'll get eaten, despite the fact that yesterday they were fully behind everything that was being said. They just see, this whole idea. They say all black people are the same, for example. All white people are the same.
Aren't
all
they?
gay people are the same, etc.
Learn something new every day.
But I quite agree. It's basically people, they just don't understand that. But me, I know I'm right all the time, but that's just because my mother told me. But the thing is, we assume that, I assume when I'm talking about something, that's my opinion. And it more than likely could be wrong because 3 older sisters, 3 daughters, I've been told I've been wrong my whole life. I'm used to that. But the thing is, if somebody tells me I'm wrong, I don't suddenly go, I'm falling out with you, I'm not talking to you, you must be bad. It's just a case of, because I have got my opinion, doesn't stop Roman, the father, yourself, having your opinion. We could disagree and stuff. It doesn't matter. It's when you disagree and still sit down and watch it together. You can do that. But people don't understand that. They think if you disagree with them, then you are the bad person. And that's the fact that I dislike.
Yeah, we understand you having spats on your actual live stream, but what I'm talking about is beyond that. What I'm talking about is supporting people that actually fighting the cause.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why even though I was on holiday, I thought it was really important to go and meet Gary and Father as well. Because I actually do believe in the cause. I do believe people should speak up, and the more you speak up, the more people will listen and consider. Hopefully, if they have right of mind, of course, and consider, and therefore the word would be spread, because it is propaganda that's been spread through our shows that we love, and they're getting destroyed because of that. So that's the cause I believe in, right? And I believe in supporting these people, even if I just watch them for 5 minutes or something like that, because I do believe it's really important. Because let's face it, it is quite, I wouldn't put the word evil, but it is horrible what they're doing to our youth and to just people in general.
I will say that it is evil. The stuff they are doing is evil. Like very clearly evil.
You know, Ian, I'm not a religious man, and I would see that as just pure evil. And it's it's not done out of the best intentions. It's done out of a selfish, I want you to do what I say. So to me, that is pure evil. It's nothing out with that.
Yeah,
there's no any altruism. They're not trying to do it for the best. They're doing it for what they think is the best. And that's just pure evil.
As far as I can tell, right, they're trying to destroy the family unit, trying to destroy religion, trying to destroy sex, trying to reinvent sexuality with this stupid. It's just, maybe you're right. Maybe it is evil. I don't know.
It's all their motives are nefarious. They're not. They're not noble. It's the opposite of noble.
When you're trying to target young children and push them towards certain ideologies, then that is definitely evil. That is evil.
Hey, Friday Night Tights has gone live, so I'm going to start wrapping up. Anybody got anything to plug?
Well, tomorrow night, UK time, 8:00, we've got Let's Talk Geeky, hosted by my colleague Jim the Viking. I'm not there tomorrow because I'm at a wedding.
I want to plug my film Bad Day, which is on Netflix. That's all I can plug, really. So there you go.
Hey, you got something.
Yeah, well, I didn't put it on there. I'm still trying to find out, but there you go. Such is life. But watch it. Watch the film. It's very violent, though. That's the thing. So you just whatever. Watch it if you can, I guess. So there you go.
John?
Yeah, so we got the Black Pill stream Wednesdays at 9 Eastern time. Come on and join us. We do it every Wednesday. Every week we talk about basically some of the bigger news stories of the week. And then I usually give my thoughts on Rings of Power, although it doesn't seem like anyone's really interested in that. So probably won't be doing that very, very soon. We usually get distracted anyways. So
you got 4 more years of it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right there.
That's what they say, but they also said that the show was going to honor Tolkien's, like the spirit of Tolkien.
Yeah,
and,
right.
How that turned out, right?
Yeah.
So, Roman or Archer?
Monday mornings, I put out my review of House of the Dragons, and then 5 PST in the afternoon, I do Mixtape Mondays with my partner, John. And then Thursday mornings, I review She-Hulk, hate myself for a little while. And then Thursday afternoons, we do our Solving the World's Problem show, also at 5 PST.
What do you talk about on Solving the World's
And I'm off and
Problem?
on with Peter. What's that, John?
Tell me more about the Solving the World's Problem show.
Well,
Is
it's
that an
mostly a
entertainment
lie.
show, or is it like a-
We usually, well, we vary it. We do current topics, and then we do discuss all the things and what, our take on them. But sometimes we have like a themed show as well, which is a whole different program.
Okay, cool.
So, well, with that, I got to wrap up. I got a few things still to get done today, too. So, thank you, John, for joining us.
Yeah, so
I won't be able to go live next week. I'm going to be on the road
See you again.
for a family funeral. So, hopefully, in 2 weeks, I'll be back.
Okay, that.
Okey-dokey.
Okay, well, with that, I thank everybody for joining, and we'll do it again soon.